Hello and welcome to School Matters. Thanks for joining us today for a special edition. We're talking football today in Cleveland County Schools. Our first guest is head coach David Devine. You are head coach for the Burns High School Bulldogs, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the staff there at Burns. If you don't mind, just to get us started, tell us a little bit about your background in education and in coaching.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a lifelong Cleveland County resident. Grew up in Fallston, right outside of Fallston, and went to Burns, graduated from Burns, and then I went on and knew I wanted to be a teacher and football coach, probably from about my junior year on in high school, and went to Appalachian State University, played a little bit of football, and then graduated there and got my job at Burns, and then worked there for about 10 years, coaching, obviously, and teaching math, and then I went to Shelby for about 7 or 8 years, and taught and coached there, and then ended up back at Burns in 2016. And that leads us to the present day.
All right, very good. Well, tell us about your team this year. Just give us, from your perspective, tell us about your team.
Yeah, we're 5-2 right now. Played some really good teams early on, and then I got in a conference season, and we're on a little bit of a win streak right now. And started out, we knew we were going to be young. We were replacing a lot of guys, and, in 22 and 23, we replaced a lot of veterans that had been playing, 2-3 years. Some of them were 4-year starters. So we kind of gradually graduated those guys out and then replacing everybody. It's been a learning experience for a lot of them, but they've caught on and been playing really good ball right now.
Very good. And you did a little bit of this, but an overview of your current season. Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, started out non-conference wise. Started out with a win against Forest View, and then we played Crest and Kings Mountain. Played a really good ball game against Crest. Obviously, they've got a great football team, and thought that one could have went either way. And then things didn't go our way against Kings Mountain. They got a tremendous football team over there, and then we've started out with Alexander Central, which I was really worried about that game because they had a lot of returning starters, and as I said earlier, we were young, but come together, and we've been doing really, really good, playing really, really good football, offensively and defensively right now.
Yeah, very good, very good. So shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about your philosophy, your coaching philosophy, and how that plays into how you approach training and game strategy.
Yeah, well, coaching philosophy, obviously you want to win football games. You want to build a team that has a winning culture, but at the same time, you want to create good young men. Great guys that are going to be great fathers and great husbands, great sons in their future. So we spend a lot of time on that. Building character training. We do that in our off-season program in the weight room. I think we do a pretty good job of that. Me and my coaching staff, we do, and the guys buy into it. We have them stand up and speak in front of each other, and try to teach them how to lead the right way. And so that's a big part of our coaching philosophy is we want to teach our guys how to work hard and be great people. And when you do things the right way, that tends to lead into winning football games.
Well said. How do you foster teamwork on and off the field?
Yeah, I mean it starts. Everything we do starts in the weight room. We start off in the weight room, and we'll start in January this coming off season. We try to put them in teams, starting right off the bat, and try to build that team atmosphere just in there. We have 10 racks in our weight room, and they're separated in groups of 4. So each little rack's got their own team atmosphere. We try to put some older guys with younger guys, and just try to teach them how to do things the right way. And the old guys can teach the young guys how to do things, and then that leads us into our off-season program with our team. We do a thing called Team Mad Dog, where it's a kind of a point system. It's kind of a competitive thing where it's kind of each one of them's against each other trying to score the most points. We have a point system for that, but at the same time, we put them in those teams I was talking about, and they're responsible for their own team, so that adds up. And then we do, like I said, we do our character training. We try to teach them how to be great teammates. Put the team before themselves, and that's a big part of our off season. It was a big part of our off season this season. This off season was trying to teach them that there's no I in team, so to speak. The old cliche.
Very good. Talk about how you develop those individual skills in players.
Well, it goes back to, again, the off-season. We do a lot of speed and agility training in off-season and strength training in the weight room. And, that leads us up into our spring football. And we've got, 10 football coaches that can coach them into their individual skills based on their position that they're playing. So we've got a great coaching staff. They do a really good job. And we just try to push them to to be the best possible football player that they can be, and also the best athlete, because we got a lot of guys that play multiple sports. We got baseball players, we have soccer players that kick, wrestlers. I mean, we try to don't just focus on football things. We try to teach them to be a good overall, well-rounded athlete.
Yeah. Tell us about a significant challenge maybe you faced as a coach and how you addressed that.
I guess most recently would be the tragedy we had at Burns, about a month ago, where we had the wreck outside the school, and I went up there myself because I was, you never know, it was happening right as school went out, and I was worried that it could have been one of my football players, so I went running up there, and it was just a bad situation. Got back down to our guys, and obviously social media, and texting and all that stuff, they were hearing about it, and it was just it was a bad situation, overall, and just trying to deal with those guys, and I was like, Mr. Pless got there, and I was talking to him, and I was like, I just don't feel right practicing football. It's now's not the time to be worried about football, and got the guidance counselors down there and talked to them, and it was a very challenging situation. I thought our guys and our coaches handled it very well. Still continuing to pray for those families.
Absolutely, for sure. How do you incorporate feedback that you get from players and from your staff, your coaching staff? How do you incorporate that?
Yeah, well, players, during the off season we have meetings. I have meetings with the seniors, individually. We talked about their future and what they're going to do when they grow up, so to speak. And then we have meetings with our position groups, trying to figure out how we're going to be the best we can be. And just myself individually, I'll try to get to know the kids beyond football. I want to try to figure out what they want to do when they grow up. Where do they want to go to school? Do they want to go to school? Some of them just want to come to CCC and learn a trade, which is, we got to have those people. And so I keep an open line of communication. I want those guys to feel like they can come up to me and talk to me about, other things besides football, but also, during the game, they feel free to come up to me and tell me what they think that we need to do adjustment-wise. We're always, Coach Diamond does a great job talking to our quarterbacks, talking to them about what they see on the field. So, player-wise, we have an open line of communication. We tell those guys anytime they feel like, they want to ask us a question to feel free. Coaching-wise, it's the same way. I try not to be a dictator. I want to lead the program, but at the same time, I want our coaches to feel ownership in the program and, feel like they have a say in what we do as well. So they know they're free to tell me, their ideas, but at the end of the day, as Coach Norman used to say, I have 51% of the vote. At Burns, they tell me I got 59% because that was my number in high school.
Okay, I like that. Maybe this is a good opportunity for you to talk about your coaching staff a little bit. What do you like to say about them?
Yeah, like I said earlier, got a great coaching staff. We've been fortunate to hire some guys. It's getting really hard to find teachers that want to be football coaches or any kind of coach. It's hard to find people that want to dedicate the time to coaching any sport. So, we got Davey Diamond and Daniel Coggins, Alex Linhart, Spencer Devine, my son. We got those guys in the building. Tommy Gales just joined us in the building, so we're fortunate to have those guys in the building. And then we got some community volunteers / guys like Eddie Harrell and Howard Sims, and I don't want to leave anybody out. Ethan Martin, we were talking about him earlier. I hope I haven't left anybody out. I'm sorry if I did.
I understand. How do you prepare for a big game? How do you prepare your players, even your staff, mentally and physically? How do you get them ready?
Well, big games, my philosophy is, I try not to treat any game differently. They're all big games. You want to win them all, so, we're going to treat them all the same. We meet the same as a staff. We may meet a little bit longer, for the bigger games, but I don't want my players to feel like, there's that added pressure on them. I want them to go out there and play free. I don't want them to be thinking. I tell them all the time, if you're thinking while you're playing slow. So I want them to be able to react and play fast, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but a game against Crest should not be treated any different than a game against Highland Tech.
Right.
I want them to treat every game the same and serious, and that way you build a winning habit and you expect to win them all, and every day's the same.
How do you engage parents and guardians for a positive environment?
Well, the same way. Well, it kind of starts off in the off season. We have a preseason, parent meeting that we have with those parents and try to explain to them, our off season, everything. We lay it all out there. We talk to them about recruiting. I know recruiting is a big deal. We communicate with our parents. We try to keep them up to date on social media through Facebook and Twitter. Well, just X now, and we try to put our guys out there, put their highlights out there for colleges to see, and I talk to them about grades and whatever all that stuff's required of them in the meeting. So just try to have an open line of communication with them as well, not just the players. I give them my phone number, tell them they can call or text me. My wife gets mad at me sometimes because the phone's ringing at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes when it's a parent got a question, but that's just part of the deal. It's part of the job. And then, obviously we have the Booster Club. We encourage them all to be a part of the Booster Club if they want to be a part of that. Anybody can be a part of it, so we do that as well. And then the team Mad Dog thing we do, we try to keep the parents abreast in that because we do a lot of community stuff, community work with the guys. We expect them, if they're going to be on that, they got to do at least 3 community events. So we try to do that to keep those guys involved as well.
Great attitude there. What are your long-term goals for the Burns program?
Well, obviously, we want to build and I feel like we built a winning program. I told my coaches when I took the job, I wanted to be a consistent top 10, whatever level team we are. Right now, we're 2A. I want to be a top 10, 2A football team, and we want to be competing for a state championship year in and year out. And I feel like we've accomplished that. We've had some really good seasons here recently, but at the same time, like I said earlier, my goal that I really am proud of is, we try to teach our guys how to do the right thing, how to do things the right way. We want to teach them how to have great character and one day be a great father, and a great husband to their wife. So we spend a lot of time talking about character development and those things. So long-term goals, long-time goals, obviously we want to get them to college. If they want to go to college, if they want to go to CCC, if they just want to go get a job, we try to point them in the right direction for those things. I'm constantly in communication with Ms. Harmon, our guidance counselor, trying to get guys applications done for college and those types of things, and just try to lead them in the right direction.
Yeah. Got time for one last quick question. Okay. The community, obviously Cleveland County is a football community, but talk about your Burns community in particular, how important that community support is.
Well, I tell, especially like right now, we're fixing to go into a reclassification, and you're trying to find non-conference games, and, I tell the guy, when I call people up, I'm like, they're worried about making money, obviously, because it's, you got to make money. And I'm like, well, our guys are going to travel. Our community's going to travel because our Burns community absolutely loves football. And we love them back. I love looking up there on Friday nights and seeing them in the stands and cheering like crazy. And, they're always going to fill the stands up. And, they expect to win. And, I expect to win. So, I wouldn't want it any other way. I want them to put that pressure on us to win. And our community is very supportive. I've never had to search out to get help, from anybody. All I got to do is, mention it to, 1 or 2 people, and they'll go out in the community and help us get it done, whatever it is. So, whether it's feeding the kids, every Friday night or Friday evening we go to a church. They'll feed the guys, they'll lead us in devotions. We've got several people in the community that comes and helps us. They'll help us practice. They'll help us paint the field. It's just, it's an all-in type atmosphere. Even though it burns, we are spread out. We tell people all the time we go 10 miles in every direction, but somehow they get there, and they are very willing to help. So we appreciate them.
Very good. Well said. Well, thank you for being here, for talking to us.
Appreciate you having me.
Best wishes to you as
Thank
you
you
finish
very
out
much.
your
Enjoyed
season.
It.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We'll be back with more right after this.
For many kids, just showing up to school is a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. So at Communities and Schools, we do just what our name says. Our staff brings a community of resources to meet each student's needs right in their school, doing whatever it takes to keep kids focused, so they see what we see, a bright future. Join in at communitiesinschools.org.
Welcome back to School Matters. Our second guest today is Coach Mike Wilbanks from Shelby High School Golden Lions. Welcome to you.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here. If you don't mind, to start off our interview, just tell us a little bit about your background, your education and experience coaching and teaching.
I grew up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Went
All right.
to Bowling Springs High School, and then from there I went to Gardner Webb, where I played football there for Coach Woody Fish, which a lot of people around here know Coach Fish.
Oh, yes.
So that's how I got introduced to Cleveland County. And then from Gardner Webb, I did my student teaching at Kings Mountain. I got to coach under Ron Massey. the late Ron Massey. I really enjoyed working for him. And then from there, I spent a year on the coast at a school called West Columbus High School.
Yes.
It's down there where I met my wife, Lori. We were both teaching and coaching down there. And then Kings Mountain called me back, so I came back up to Kings Mountain in the early 2000s, stayed there to 2005, then I came to Shelby in 2006. I've been at Shelby since 2006 and became the head coach in 2019. So
All right.
that's kind of my background there.
Yeah, very good. Talk about your team this year and their progress.
The team this year, they, out of the 22 starters we have, we start 8 sophomores and a freshman. So we knew going in there'd be some growing up to do, and they've done that. That's been fun to watch. It's always a joy to see where they are in October versus where they are in August. So they're progressing. They're doing well. We're starting to learn from some of the mistakes we made earlier in the year. It's helped having a veteran quarterback. Land Farmer is back. He started last year as a sophomore, so it's been nice to have him and a senior running back and Tristan Tate. And then we got a few seniors on defense that are helping us, but combining them with some of that youth, they're progressing nicely, and we're excited. We're 2 weeks left of the regular season, and then see what the playoffs hold.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a quick overview of this season.
Right now we are 6-2. We got 2 games left. We started off the season playing Kings Mountain, big rival game, and that was a big win for us, a hard-fought win, and that got us started. But then we, dropped to AC Reynolds and then lost 1 to Crest, and then beat an Olympic team out of Charlotte. That is, I think they're 6-2 right now as well, 4A school out of Charlotte. That was a really big win for us. It got us back on track. So that's kind of where we are right now. We're playing pretty good right now, but we're starting to get into the part of the schedule that really matters when you come down to the end of the conference and then get into playoffs.
Absolutely. Talk about your coaching philosophy and how that comes into play and how you approach training and game strategy.
My coaching philosophy is football is a game. It's a game that we all love. I tell our players that all the time. We as coaches and players, we love the game, but it's a game and it's going to end at some point. So we try to use the game and enjoy the game, and we work hard at playing the game, but also we have to understand that there's more to life than the game. And so part of my philosophy is we're going to work hard. We practice hard, we lift hard, we run hard, but we also have a lot of men who are coaches who are good role models and pour into these young men, and they know about some of the needs they have, and especially during the hurricane, we had some kids without power, so that was a big deal there. So part of my coaching philosophy is, there's more to life than just a football game, and that goes into the student and student athlete. That goes into their character, and also as a Christian, I'd like to see them come into a relationship with Christ, which I know that may be frowned upon by some people, but I don't care, but that's my philosophy.
Okay, very good. Well said. How do you foster teamwork in your players?
Well, that starts in January. Every January we start over. We kind of start from scratch. I bring them in the weight room. We work out, and we have shirts that have nothing on them about Shelby. They're just plain. And we talk about earning their Shelby, earning their gold, earning that lion head. And so that kind of galvanizes them a little bit, because they're all, no matter if you had a record-breaking year last year or you're brand new, everybody looks the same, they're starting the same. So that kind of gets things in motion. Then from there we go into their position groups, and they form little bonds there. But we also do things like we have the team broken up into groups that work on cleaning up the field house. We got they're broken up into groups that we go see elementary schools on Fridays. During the summer, we take a couple of days and we just bring the grills out and play kickball, just to let them enjoy being kids. And some of those little things, people may not realize, but that helps them form bonds and form memories, form relationships, which I think will carry over, especially when we get to this part of the year, having a strong team.
Absolutely. Talk about how you develop those individual skills in players.
Well, I'm fortunate. I have a great coaching staff, and all of my coaches have played collegiately So they know their positions, and the coaches do a great job of honing in on those little idiosyncrasies that go into play in the positions. So I rely on the coaches a lot. I'm an old offensive lineman, so I get down there with the offensive linemen and share some things. But we spend a lot of time in the off season, all summer. You know, I talked to our team about how much time they sacrifice. They're up there. I think we had 24 workouts last summer, so 24 days of the summer they're sacrificing to come to Shelby High School to work on those skills. And but you got to. I mean, Cleveland County football is a big deal here.
Absolutely.
And if you don't work at it, people will know about it. So that's how we
That's
do
right. Is there a significant challenge you faced as a coach you want to talk about and share how you addressed it?
Well, first, just being the head coach at Shelby High School. Since 1934, I'm only the 6th head coach. So when you step into that role, that's a good challenge, but it's a challenge to live up to some of that history that is Shelby High School. And so that's kind of in the back of my mind. I want to make some of those former head coaches and players proud. You know, Coach Taylor and Coach Norman, Coach Ware, those guys are still around. And so that was a challenge. And then COVID was a challenge unlike anything I've ever been through, trying to coach kids during COVID, where you couldn't assemble with more than 10 players at a time, where you couldn't touch a ball, or you had to clean the weight room every 5 minutes. So that was a challenge there. Playing in the spring, that was weird. And then we just recently got a new field house renovation, but we had to go a year without a field house or a weight room, and that was a tremendous challenge, moving the weight room and setting up a temporary one in the wrestling room and not having a locker room. Those were big challenges, but we've grown from them, and I think we're better because of it.
Very good, well said. How do you incorporate feedback? How do you use that feedback you get from players and your coaching staff?
Well, I have with the seniors, like in the summer, right when we get finished with spring practice, the seniors will come to my house and we'll eat. That's kind of where I talk to them about what I want the season to look like, what they want the season to look like. It goes everything from the playlist that they want to listen to at practice or in the weight room to what we're going to wear each week, what uniform combination we're going to wear, what food they like or don't like at pregame meal. So I get feedback, so that kind of opens up dialogue for them to come and talk to me or any of our coaches. And then we have kind of an unofficial council of players. We've got a few seniors, a few juniors, sophomores, and freshmen that we can go to and ask them if, what's going on or those kind of things. And then from my coaches, feedback from the coaches, we get that every Sunday in our team our coaches meetings. We always have what we call SWAT. We talk about our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. And that gives the coaches a chance to chime in with what they see, because sometimes they see something as a problem that I never saw. Or maybe they see an opportunity for us to do something that'll help us that I didn't realize. So we just try to keep those channels of communication open. And I'm not a dictator type of coach. I think most of my staff knows they can propose or suggest whatever.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So how do you prepare for a big game that's coming up? How do you prepare mentally, physically, your team?
You can't just wait till Monday of the big game to prepare. I tell our players all the time, it's not just a light switch that you can just flip on and all of a sudden you're ready to play. So we try to do it all along. We try to make summer difficult. We try to do a lot of conditioning in the summer. I tell them all the time about a Navy SEALs quote, that you don't rise to the occasion, but you fall back on your preparation. So that's kind of what we do. We try to work it during the summer so hard that when we get to crucial points of the season, they're able to fall back on their preparation. So, if we're playing, like we got Burns next week, or if we're playing a Crest or a Kings Mountain, people are going to be a little more focused probably because it's a big county game, but we try to make every week a big game and try to just get good at our preparation. We try to make every week the same. Monday film, meetings, Tuesdays look the same, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and roll into game week. So we try to get it consistent so when the big game does come, we're ready.
I like that phrase, using that phrase. How do you engage parents to create that positive environment for your your players?
So we have a parent meeting, obviously most teams do. We have a parent meeting, but also try to meet with the senior parents. I try to organize or get somebody to be kind of the liaison and be like a team mom. And you know, I got a team mom right now, Natasha Russell. She's not a senior parent, but she's taken on that role. She's a junior parent, and she's been great. She helps me and organizes pregame meals and snacks on the road, and she does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that most people don't see. But I just try to open up to the parents, try to give them a little bit of involvement, and try to get them. I think when they're involved more, maybe a little more understanding.
Yeah.
So that's how it is with the parents. And then we use social media. You know, I've got a person who handles our social media page, getting information out and wishing kids happy birthday, wishing kids, you know, whatever sport are going on. Right now it's football, but we use social media to get a lot of the positive stuff out and create a positive relationship with parents.
Good. Talk about long-term goals you have for your program.
Long-term goals, you know, we want to have a sustained culture of winning, obviously. But we also, you know, we want to see our young men be successful. And I talk to them all the time about success. Don't let that be defined by how much you make necessarily. You know, one of the things I tell my players, I say, if you come back in 10 years and you're married, you're a dad, you're contributing to society, whether it be working or in the military or whatever, I say that's a success. So what we do is, you know, I'll have the seniors come back over to my house next week, kind of as a culmination of their career. But the more times I can get those players around me and my wife's there. I want them to see what a married couple looks like. And I want them, you know, my other coaches bring their kids around to practice. I want them to see what a dad looks like, or, you know, the other coaches' wives come around. So I want them long-term to be good men. And a good man is being a good husband and a good dad and a contributing member of society. That's the bottom line. If they do that, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. A great attitude. So we've talked about it already. Cleveland County, City of Shelby, big football community, lots of tremendous support.
Right.
But just talk about that for a minute, what that means to you as a coach, to your staff, the program.
But it's a lot of tradition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tradition, a lot of things that we do that have been done long before I ever came to Shelby. But to involve the community, they do love Shelby High School. And so we do certain things like we have something called Supper Club, Thursday Supper Club. There's a group of men led by Mike Willis, and he'll get a bunch of the men in the community to come, and on Thursdays when we finish practice at 5 o'clock, those men will be paired off with one of our players, and they'll go eat at, they'll either go to the Best Group or go to Jam and Jay's and just have a meal and just work on networking. And again, just trying to get our young men around men who know what a man looks like.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having
Coach
me.
Wilbanks, for
Enjoyed
being
it.
here, and it's nice to talk to you, and wish you much success as
Thank
you
you.
finish out the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching School Matters.
School Matters is a production of the Communications Department of the Cleveland County School System. For additional information, visit our website at www.clevelandcountyschools.org.